All right, Arlene. So we are back here to really kind of dive into your journey. And we've been on it for several months now, and you have already doubled the amount of money in your account, correct?
Right. I am actually very happy about it from the time I first started investing. And now, just a couple of months after that, we've already doubled our investment.
Love that. I absolutely love that. So super cool. Glad you're on your way. Let's kind of dig into what the needs are today. So kind of hit me with your first question and let's dig into it.
Yeah, well, now that the value of Bitcoin is going up, I was actually wondering when is the next best time for me to put more of my investment in, and would it still go up in the next month or two? And if that is the case, would it be wise for me to put in money now before it goes up by December or by the end of the year?
I got you. So anytime we're talking about putting money into an investment, there's two things that we really consider. And what's really important on this conversation is the time horizon. When do you want that money back, right? When is this something that you say, I'm going to put money in and I'm going to take that profit in 10 years when it's worth a ton? Am I going to take it? I need it next week. I need it next month. So tell me a little bit about when are you hoping to kind of take some profits for Bitcoin or for your crypto? And let's start there.
We're actually looking at taking out some of our investments by the end of the year. We're not taking everything out, we're just taking out some, and then we'll leave the rest for a long-term investment.
Okay, I got you. So really by the end of the year, because you're getting married in January, right?
Yes, I am.
So super congratulations there. But really that's the catalyst is that you got a wedding coming up. We need to take some cash and use that for whatever expenses you want. And the answer is really kind of twofold. One, we're going to talk about should we put more in? And two, we'll talk about when should you take it out? So the key is if you want to take it out by the end of the year, you have a specific deadline you want to be at. You happen to be in the part of the market cycle, really the market's going to continue to climb kind of throughout the year. And really between, I'd say the beginning of December all the way through maybe even March, Bitcoin could reach its all-time high, really somewhere in there. There's really no way to know until we get closer to that point. And kind of within that week, sometimes within like a couple of days, we could say, okay, I think this is it. This is the top. The thing is, we're not going to try to time the top. For you specifically, really when you're talking about taking money out, what we want to do is we want to watch the markets a little bit. You kind of want to stay on top of some of the market updates that we're putting out in the private Facebook group. And then I'll kind of be talking about, hey, now's really the time to be taking profits. But really taking it anytime in December is going to be pretty safe because at least in my opinion, right? Because the market's going to continue to climb. It might drop here and there, but it'll still be higher than $60,000 in December. Now, as far as putting money in, you really have to look at that and say, is it really worth the risk if I put money in and somehow it's not higher, right? Let's say in December, it drops down to 40 grand. And then in January, it goes to 150 grand. And then in February or March, it goes to 250 grand, right? What, just some crazy scenario, right? It's unlikely, but could it happen? Sure, anything could happen, right? The price of Bitcoin could go to zero, right? It can happen. Is it likely? Probably not. Right. And so because of that, you have to kind of take that in consideration and say, if I put the money over there, is it okay if I had to take a loss because I needed to take that cash out? This needs to be money that you can afford to lose or that you can afford to say, all right, it didn't really work out like I wanted to. We're just going to have to wait a couple of years until the next bull run. And then really I'll have made substantially more money. So it's kind of a preference in what you're trying to do and the amount of money you're putting in there. If you're saying, look, I got this big chunk, I'm going to try to double it in the next 2 months. That's pretty risky, right? That's pretty risky. And so I probably wouldn't do that. But hey, it's your money. You can do whatever you want. I do think the price of Bitcoin is around 60 grand now. I do think it's going to go up, but there's no real way to guarantee that or to predict it except for on a week by week basis, right?